executed the largest fentanyl bust in the history of the U.S.
The largest fentanyl bust in U.S. history.
Federal agents in New York City making the largest meth bust in recent history.
Making 16 arrests and seizing hundreds of kilos of fentanyl that could kill tens of millions of Americans.
4 a.m., October 20th, 2025. GPS screens lit up across federal command centers. 250 targets moving through 48 states. To America, these were Southwest logistics trucks, pristine safety records, 15-year history, delivering fresh produce to Walmart, Costco, Kroger. The perfect success story. To the 400 federal agents waiting in darkness, they were ghost units. At exactly 0400 hours, the order came. Execute Operation Highway Harvest. 52 tons of methamphetamine seized. $2 billion street value destroyed. 273 arrests across the nation. But the most shocking truth? The trucking company was built by the Sinaloa cartel from day one. Want to know how they hid in plain sight for 15 years? Tap like. I'll reveal everything. 6 months earlier, April 2025. Interstate 10 outside San Antonio, Texas. A Tuesday afternoon stretched hot and endless across the asphalt. Texas Highway Patrol Officer Marcus Chen signaled a refrigerated semi-truck to pull over. Routine commercial vehicle inspection. Nothing unusual. The truck bore Southwest logistics markings, DOT certified, clean maintenance records. The driver stepped down calmly, handed over his commercial license without hesitation. The cargo manifest listed 20 tons of tomatoes and lettuce destined for a Midwest distribution center. Paperwork flawless, truck spotless. To human eyes, this was American commerce functioning perfectly. But the K-9 unit saw differently. Handler Sarah Mitchell walked her German Shepherd around the trailer perimeter. The dog circled once, twice, then sat near the rear axle. Passive alert. Narcotics detected. Officers were confused. They opened the trailer doors. Nothing but stacked crates of vegetables. They moved crates aside, checked walls, inspected seams. Nothing. But dogs don't lie. They deployed a density scanner, handheld device measuring material thickness. The reading on the trailer floor registered abnormal, too dense, metal and organic material where only insulation and wood should exist. Heavy tools were retrieved, crowbars, hydraulic jacks. When they pried up the floorboards, the hidden truth emerged. Concealed in a custom-engineered void beneath the refrigerated cargo space sat plastic-wrapped bundles, vacuum-sealed, color-coded like inventory. 100 kilograms of pure crystal methamphetamine. The driver was arrested immediately, taken to interrogation. But DEA agents watching through one-way glass noticed something disturbing. The man was genuinely terrified, hands shaking, voice cracking. "I just deliver lettuce," he kept repeating. "I've been driving this route for 6 years." He wasn't acting. He was an innocent pawn. This revelation changed everything. If the driver didn't know, the concealment had to be structural, built into the truck itself. Special Agent Maria Rodriguez of the DEA Strategic Intelligence Division understood immediately. This wasn't one rogue driver smuggling a few kilos. This was industrial-scale engineering. And if one truck existed, there had to be more. If you believe this operation required protection from corrupt officials, tap like, subscribe, and comment, expose. Southwest Logistics wasn't a shell company existing only on paper. It was real, profitable, operating for 15 years. They employed 500 drivers, maintained a massive yard in Texas, generated $300 million in annual revenue through legitimate contracts with America's largest retailers. They were a pillar of the logistics industry. But DEA intelligence, led by Agent Rodriguez, spent 18 months dismantling the illusion. What they discovered was chilling. Southwest Logistics wasn't infiltrated by the Sinaloa cartel. It was founded by them, owned by them, operated by them from day one. The business model was brilliant and terrifying. Of their 250 truck fleet, 150 were purely legitimate, hauling real produce 24/7, generating clean revenue, building a perfect safety rating with the Department of Transportation. But the other 100 trucks were priority units. These specific vehicles were taken to a cartel-owned garage accessible only to vetted mechanics. There, they underwent modifications costing $50,000 per truck. Hydraulic compartments installed beneath trailer floors, accessible only by removing specific produce crates in precise sequences that legitimate inspectors would never discover. The system was genius in its simplicity. Priority trucks moved 150 to 200 kilograms of methamphetamine per trip, They traveled America's highways mixed with legitimate traffic, delivering poison to distribution hubs in Chicago, Atlanta, New York, then reloading with legal cargo to return home. The drivers operated in a two-tier system. Most were innocent, hard-working truckers who had no idea they drove on top of felonies. But a select group, the priority drivers, received coded messages, route deviations, massive cash bonuses totaling $10,000 per trip to look away while cartel crews loaded hidden compartments. Over 2 years, this fleet moved 52 tons of methamphetamine, generated over $300 million in illicit profit, all while maintaining perfect safety ratings. Financial analysis revealed the depth of the deception. Legitimate trucking revenue totaled $30 million annually. Operating costs consumed $25 million. That left $5 million net profit. But bank deposits showed $300 million entering company accounts over 2 years. The cartel was subsidizing the legitimate side of business, keeping trucks on roads as camouflage, while priority units moved poison beneath produce. Agent Rodriguez knew taking down one truck wouldn't stop them. The cartel would write it off as business cost. To kill the beast, she had to cut off the head. The entire fleet, the headquarters, the mechanics, the executives, all at the exact same time. Comment destroy if you believe cartel-owned companies deserve total annihilation. Raiding a company with trucks scattered across 48 states presented a logistical nightmare. If one driver tipped off headquarters, evidence would be shredded, hard drives wiped, cartel leadership would vanish back to Mexico. The date was set, October 20th, 2025. 400 federal agents from DEA, FBI, and Highway Patrol mobilized. They tracked every priority unit via GPS, positioned SWAT teams outside corporate headquarters in Texas, placed surveillance units at distribution warehouses nationwide. At 4 a.m., the order was given. The largest simultaneous trucking raid in U.S. history began. Command centers in Washington, D.C. and El Paso went live. Across America, from Florida humidity to Nevada deserts, the trap snapped shut. This wasn't a raid. This was synchronized shutdown of a logistics empire. On Interstate 10, a priority unit moving westbound was illuminated by flashing lights from 3 unmarked DEA SUVs. The driver, a 10-year veteran, pulled over assuming routine inspection. He didn't know his name was already on federal indictment. As he stepped from the cab, tactical geared agents met him. He was handcuffed against his own truck while specialized teams began dismantling the trailer floor. Minutes later, they pulled out 180 kilograms of methamphetamine hidden beneath pallets of avocados. This scene played out simultaneously on highways in 12 states. Drivers pulled from sleeper berths at truck stops, others intercepted at way stations. The coordination was absolute. In the first hour, federal agents secured over 53 trucks loaded with contraband. But the heart of the operation was in Texas. At Southwest Logistics corporate headquarters, the scene looked like military invasion. FBI SWAT teams breached front glass doors at 4:18 a.m. This wasn't a cartel safe house with barred windows. It was a modern corporate facility. Glass walls, executive suites, conference rooms. The executives, men who wore expensive suits and attended Chamber of Commerce meetings, were pulled from desks and thrown to the ground. They had spent years believing their legitimate business front made them untouchable. They thought $300 million in legal revenue bought immunity. They were wrong. Agents moved room to room, seizing servers, financial records, employee files. They found the shadow ledgers, encrypted files tracking illegal profits separately from legitimate hauling revenue. The CEO was discovered at his desk, frantically attempting to delete files from a secure server. "Step away from the computer," an agent screamed. "It's over." The CEO froze. Cursor hovered over the delete button. Too late. FBI cyber forensic agents secured the laptop before encryption keys could be wiped. "I don't understand," the CEO stammered as he was pulled from his ergonomic chair and handcuffed. "We are a legitimate logistics provider. You are a money laundering front for the Sinaloa cartel," the agent replied. "You are under arrest for conspiracy to traffic narcotics, wire fraud, and operating a continuing criminal enterprise." Simultaneously across the corporate campus, the CFO, VP of Operations, and head of logistics were taken into custody. These were men who drove luxury cars, lived in gated communities, sat on charity boards. They believed white collars would protect them from black market consequences. They were wrong. While executives were marched from glass-walled headquarters, another raid happened at the company maintenance depot, the dark heart of the operation. DEA tactical teams breached the priority garage at 4:31 a.m. They caught mechanics red-handed. Inside, sparks flew. A welding team was mid-modification, actively installing hydraulic lift systems into refrigeration units. Federal agents, drop the torches now. The mechanics dropped tools. They didn't even try to run. They knew exactly what they were building. They weren't repairing engines. They were engineering felonies. The garage was an evidence goldmine. Agents found blueprints, fabrication schematics, invoices for specialized hydraulic pumps. Most damning, a work order list of the 100 priority units that had been modified to carry poison. Stay with this video if you support federal agents who risk everything to protect American highways. By 6 a.m., the coordination of Operation Highway Harvest reveals staggering scale. 273 arrests nationwide. 53 priority trucks seized on highways. 47 more seized at the depot. Total 52 tons of methamphetamine removed from circulation. Street value exceeded $2 billion. But as dust settled, a tragic reality emerged regarding the workforce. Nearly 500 drivers had been detained in the initial sweep, held in temporary processing centers, stripped of commercial licenses, interrogated. As interviews progressed, federal agents realized heartbreaking truth. Approximately 150 of these drivers were completely innocent. Legitimate truckers hired to haul produce. They drove assigned routes, delivered loads, never knew that beneath their feet, millions of dollars in meth hid in the frame. These men and women stood on highway shoulders watching trucks being towed, realizing their careers were destroyed because their employer was a criminal organization. "I just deliver lettuce," one driver told investigators, tears streaming. "I have a family, I didn't know." The federal government moved quickly to rectify this. In a rare move, the Department of Justice issued certificates of innocence to cleared drivers, reinstating licenses, even assisting them in finding new employment with vetted carriers. But for priority drivers, the ones who took $10,000 bonuses and used encrypted phones, there was no mercy. They faced mandatory minimum sentences of 20 years. In warehouses across the country, agents found drugs vacuum sealed and hidden inside banana crates, buried under lettuce, concealed within trailer walls. The cartel had turned the American food supply chain into a delivery service for death. Major retailers were notified immediately. Walmart, Costco, Kroger, corporate security teams were horrified. Their distribution centers had been used as unwitting transfer points. Trusted trucks pulling into their docks had carried lethal cargo. Contracts were terminated instantly. Southwest Logistics was blacklisted from the industry. The company that had generated $300 million in illegal profit was effectively erased from the map. But for the 273 people in handcuffs, the nightmare was just beginning. This is not an outlier. This is a warning. The war on drugs has evolved. It's no longer just about catching someone with a backpack crossing the desert. It's about auditing the supply chain, scanning the infrastructure, realizing the truck in the lane next to you might be a weapon of mass destruction disguised as grocery delivery. Criminal organizations don't need to hide in shadows anymore. They incorporate in Delaware, join chambers of commerce, win business awards. They weaponize legitimacy. Southwest Logistics proved that billion-dollar criminal operations can operate in plain sight for years, filing taxes, passing inspections, appearing normal, until someone asks the right questions. The lesson is uncomfortable but unavoidable. Systems designed to move commerce efficiently can be exploited by those who understand how trust works. Perfect paperwork kills scrutiny. Automation replaces human judgment. Repetition becomes proof of legitimacy. The DEA and FBI sent a clear message to cartels worldwide. You can wear suits. You can incorporate legally. You can join business associations. But if you move poison through our country, we will not just arrest you. We will bankrupt you, dissolve your company, bury your legacy. The highways are open again. The lettuce is being delivered. But the eyes of federal law enforcement are watching the asphalt closer than ever before. Hit like if you believe companies used as cartel fronts deserve total corporate dissolution. Comment vigilance if you think supply chain security needs to be America's top priority. Share this with someone who thinks the drug war is over. They need to see how cartels evolved. Subscribe for the next investigation into hidden wars fought on American streets. Because the trucks are still rolling, and the hunt never ends.